and get ready to get off to work. But I thought I'd do a talk about this morning about a couple of things. Right, I talk about tariffs, and I want to talk about the public-private partnership that I've been dreaming about for a long time, that I think would go a long way to help a lot of people in America. And there's almost no talk about it. Right, there's no talk about developing skills for people, especially young men, to go out into the world and do something that's really meaningful. And I think we need to talk about that just a little bit, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the things that I see kind of coming down the pipeline is that in America we're actively trying to slow the economy right now, and the idea behind that is that when you slow the economy, it's going to take the 10-year bond and it's going to bring that rate down, which is the thing that is causing interest rates to be so high right now. You've got, mortgages are at, 7%, auto loans are well over 10%, credit cards are in the mid 20s. I mean, hell, they might even be up to 30% right now. So everything is just super unaffordable right now. And then there's a ton of people that don't have job skills, right? They're not doing things that are valuable to society. And we know that because they're not being paid very much, right? And that's almost the only thing you know. So anyway, if you're on the stream, hit the like button, add to the comments. Let me know where you are. Let me know what you do. If you're in the trades, or you're a woodworker, you frame houses, you're a welder, you're a plumber. You just gotta let us know what you do, and we'll talk about this morning before I get off to work. But so I got basically 4 talking points this morning that I'm going to kind of go over, and I've been doing some reading on Grok this morning about the things that I'm going to talk about today. So anyway, my name is Eric Wilkin. I do these streams all the time, and I own a business here called The Resplendent Crow in St. Louis, Missouri. We build furniture. We ship furniture all over America. We paint furniture. We high gloss lacquer furniture, which is a very difficult finish to produce. And we employ about 7 people here. We're a low 7-figure business. And it's a middle class living, and I talk about it from the perspective of an owner operator who does the work, right? So I'm not some guy that is an MBA that went to school and just runs a company, from an office. I build furniture, manage people, deal with problems all day long, and it's a different perspective, I think, on YouTube, I hope. And it's just a way to show people how business really works and how life really operates when you're just a normal Joe. Never graduated high school, moved from Oregon to Oklahoma to Kansas to Georgia, up here to St. Louis. Just been all over the country and figured out how to make this thing work. And it's a good middle class living to work with your hands. And so, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's who I am. So we got people coming in. Top 20 Louisiana law. My portfolio is down 27% because of Trump. No, it's actually not down because of Trump, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Your portfolio is not the only thing that matters, which is a big part of the discussion that I'm going to talk about today. You have a humongous class divide, right? And I know this because I have people in my family that are in the 1%, and then I have people that are also unemployed, right? So a large spectrum of people. My family's in wealth management, and they retired at 55. They're super wealthy, and we kind of talk about this stuff a lot. And there's a big disconnect between what America needs, right, versus what America is getting right now. And we got a lot of changes coming in, and people are flipping out. And that's okay. It's going to happen. Truth is you have to let people try new things, because what we've been doing hasn't been working, right? And we know that just because what I was talking about before, what's happening to people's wages, their buying power has been so diminished, and it's just been absolutely destroyed. And like I said, I'll talk about it a little bit. More comments coming in, and I appreciate the feedback and the comments. Louisiana law. So I'm assuming you're in the law space with that kind of a name. It took me 6 years to grow, and all my gains are wiped out. Yeah. Well, welcome to the real world. It happens. Like I said, I never graduated high school. I had to move all over America for 20 years. I had to work 60 hours a week most of my life and do a side business to get a mediocre living, So you're going to get no sympathy from me, because that's what most people have to deal with, right? And part of the divide that we're dealing with today is you have too many people making money doing this right here, sitting on a table, sitting at a desk, sitting at a computer, and we've basically screwed over a large part of America so that people could make money by investing, right? And there's nothing wrong with investing. All of these things work together. But the problem is the people that are doing the investing and the allocating of resources aren't sharing that with the rest of the country. And it's becoming hyper relevant, right? It's becoming, everyone's aware of it, and it's a big, massive problem. So again, I'm going to talk about these things, and I love all the comments, and I'm happy to go back and forth with anybody if you guys want to talk about this. Again, dumb guy, never graduated high school, somehow figured this out, and it took a ton of work, and that's okay. People really like working, and we've basically told people that if you go to college, you don't have to work that hard, right? One of my ex-wives told me once, told my son that if you don't go to school, you're going to have to work hard like your father, right? And the truth is that my life's pretty good, and working hard feels really good. But we've kind of brainwashed people into thinking that life's supposed to be easy, right? And it's really not. But anyway, sorry guys, got so many comments coming in here. I'm gonna go through a couple of them, and then I'm gonna get on my points here. So we got this Louisiana law guy coming in. Yeah, and I'm sorry you got wiped out, dude, and I'm sorry that anyone loses anything. But again, this is life. Life is full of highs, it's full of lows. But we've kind of been in a low spot for a little while. We need to work on that. All right, we got let's see, Jasper 1969 coming in. There's no way they're in the 1%. 1% is net worth of 50 million plus. Well, they could be. Okay, if that's true, you're right. Yeah, they're not there, but they're very close. So we're gonna just kind of assume that they're pretty close. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. CE, God bless Trump. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We don't know yet. Nice hairline. Yeah, right. So I lost my hair when I was 30 years old. I'm 45 now. Necessarily my retirement gains are gone. Yes, I know. Everyone's in trouble right now, and we'll talk about it. There's big issues there. We got David D. Hameen. I pronounced that correct. Fragile. Yeah. Hi, good morning. Yeah, good morning, Nathan. Good to meet everyone. Like I said, a favorite. What do we got here? Favorite cereal. Oh boy, tricks. All right, we got a bunch of stuff coming in. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the comments on. Hello to everyone. Good. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Continue with the comments, so we're gonna start getting into this, and I'll talk about a few things. And again, I want everyone to contribute, show where you're at, add to the likes, all this kind of stuff, and we'll process them. Okay, so I got 4 points here. I'm gonna go over these 4 points real quick, and then we'll kind of attack each point. And I'll try and keep this fairly brief. I want to try to do this in like 30-ish minutes. Okay, so the first thing I wrote down is, why was everyone given a college degree? Okay, we need to talk about this issue because it's very relevant today. The truth is we have way too many people that have gone to college, and college is a good thing. But college is to make smart people smarter, okay? And we brainwash people into think that college is to make dumb people smart, okay? And the truth is that dumb people do what I do. We work with our hands, and I use it as a term of endearment, to be quite honest. You don't take this the wrong way. But we're supposed to work with our hands. We're supposed to, stock grocery stores. We're supposed to, make the roads, and we're supposed to do all this stuff. And we have a very important purpose, right? We're supposed to, things are supposed to be a little more difficult for us. It's just kind of how life is. College is meant for people that are actually very intelligent, that show an aptitude for things very young, and then they go to college and they grow that, right? And we've kind of we've gotten away from that, right? And this started really hyper scaling in about 2008, right? When we had the great financial crisis. We had to figure out what to do with everyone. We sent them all to college. Okay, so we'll talk about that for a second. Second point, number 2. Okay, I've thought for a decade at this point about this public-private partnership. And again, people tell me if you agree with this. I could be crazy. What we need in America today is we need businesses to be able to hire people, right? And to take chances on more people so that we can teach them things, okay? So what I just talked about with point 1 is we took people at a very young age and we said, you know what, you just need to go to school, right? And the truth is that a lot of people don't need to go to school. In fact, most people don't need to go to college, but they do need to work, right? People do need to have purpose. People do need to get out into the real world and see how things really work. But it's become so expensive to hire people that businesses don't want to take chances on, especially young people or people that especially. I mean, let's back up. Okay, so young people, if a young person wants $20 an hour, like I can't pay them $20 an hour because they don't know anything, right? Odds are they're going to make more mistakes than their salary is worth, right? So if I have guys helping me work on, say, an $8,000 credenza, if they mess up that credenza, right, their salary's wiped out for a week or two, right? Because we have to go in and we have to rework that thing. And then I got to pay them to rework it, and I got to show them how to do it, right? So hiring people is very expensive, and people often overlook this, right? And then we tack on top of that, people need health care, and people need dental care, and people need, 401k, and people want all these benefits, vision, things like that. And that's all well and good, but the truth is that we don't really need all that stuff as much as we talk about it. And this is something where I'm all for universal health care. Like, I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand. I got to kind of see how their situation worked there. I'm open to that discussion, right? But the point is that we have to get people into jobs that makes sense, right? From an employer standpoint and an employee standpoint. So we need to come up with a system that basically offsets the losses to train somebody for the business, so that they can then bring them in and teach them skills. And I don't know if people agree with this, and I'll slide down in the comments and we'll talk about that. But that's point number 2. I want to talk about that for a little bit. And I did a search on Grok, and there are some programs where this exists, right? But it only exists if there's funding through the federal government, right? And this is the problem. The problem is that the federal government does not know how to do this. They do not know how to allocate resources correctly. And we're seeing this with what's going on in the economy today. The federal government is just out of control. Whether you agree with me or disagree with it, point is they're spending way too much money. They're giving way too much money, okay? Point number 3, talk about tariffs. Tariffs are almost a protectionist kind of thing. And while I'm in the furniture space, I do believe that tariffs have a role to play. So we want to talk about tariffs. We're going to talk about the 25% automotive tariff and why that's in place and what the goal is for that. It's not really what people think. And then we're going to talk about the timber tariff. Okay, so right now there's a 14.5% tariff on Canadian softwoods, right? It's getting ready to go up to 25%, which is actually going to be on top of that 14%. So Canada's looking at a massive tariff on basically the timber industry, right? Which includes the furniture industry, okay? So we need to talk about that because that's what I do, and that's what I want to talk about, okay? So that's point number 3 is tariffs. And then we have the slowing economy, okay? You heard this Louisiana guy said that his gains were wiped out, 27%, blah, 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 okay? And that sucks, right? That's not good. And as the economy starts to contract, right, people are going to lose, especially if you have an investment, right? You're going to lose money. If you bought a house, you're going to lose money because what's going to happen is people are going to run out of cash to spend on things, and it's going to drive down the cost of everything. So right now, if you get on, like, I look on Facebook Marketplace for tools and machines and stuff like that all the time because businesses don't always get to buy brand new stuff. But anyway, you'll see that the prices of cars, of machines, of just goods in general, rental properties, they're all coming down, right? And there's something going on there. And I think the plan is actually to slow the economy down and to get basically the 10-year bond to come down, right? Because that'll get interest rates on all kinds of things to move in the direction we need them to move so that people can actually afford stuff. Right, and there's an argument between whether prices need to come down or interest rates need to come down. And the truth is that these interest rates need to come down first, but it'll also drag down prices. We need that to happen, and everybody always says, well, as soon as that happens, inflation's going to kick back in. And like, no, if you have a slowing economy, inflation will not occur, right? This is the thing that people don't want to deal with. They don't want to do anything with the economy slowing down and the price of things coming up. They just want to make more money, right? So which is everything that I'm talking about. So we're gonna talk about how people can actually make more money to afford more stuff, okay? So, and I wrote down all kinds of stuff. We got a lot of problems, okay? Last stat I'm gonna give you guys, and then we're gonna look through the comments and we're gonna start talking about these things line item by line item, is in 1950, okay? And pay attention to this. If you're in the trades, you probably understand this kind of stuff. In 1950, there were 9,500 pages of federal regulations. Okay, this is the CFR, this Code of Federal Regulations. It dictates a lot of things. I was a safety coordinator in Kansas and had to deal with all the environmental, the labor, the occupational safety and health, all this kind of stuff for several years, and it is a clusterfuck. I mean, it is so difficult to understand and just so cumbersome and annoying. That 9,500 pages in 1950 swelled to 87,000 pages in 2020, okay? Now, you can't tell me that the jobs that were done in 1950, today they're less dangerous. These jobs are all dangerous, and they're supposed to be dangerous, and that's part of what we're going to talk about. Things are not supposed to be nerfed. Things are not supposed to be easy, and we've gotten away from what it means to do work that is meaningful and how that affects society. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go through the comments here. So we got more people coming in. Again, hit the like button, guys. Add to the comments. We'll go through these. So we'll see. We got RD Dog, let's take financial advice from a crack addict. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, totally, man. Like, I don't dispute any of what you guys are saying. Like I said, my family made a ton of money in the stock market. I don't tell you guys, like those are the people that I talk to. Like I feel like I got a pretty good idea what's going on. But yeah, you're right. I know nothing. I'm just a small business owner here in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't live in, Los Angeles or New York. I just some normal Joe. And I just talk about this kind of stuff, give people a different perspective. Okay. We got Daniel, Manchester, favorite cereal. Yeah, don't eat cereal. I love cereal, but I don't really eat it. I guess I'd go with frosted mini wheats. Anyway, let's see. We got tricks and more of this minus cream mush house. So yeah, you got all these great people. Like, what are people doing at like this time in the morning? Like, they just come and they just want to like add weird comments, things. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm literally doing this and then I'm racing off to work on a Saturday, right? Because that's kind of what small business is really like. Like, we work all the time, and I'm wired that way. 1% is 10 million plus. Okay, yeah. Well, if 1 million is 10 million plus, then yes, then my previous statement was correct. Let's see, dude, you look 60. Yeah, that's right, because I've worked my ass off all the time. Like, I did endurance racing for, I don't know, 12 years and drove all over America doing that. But I've always worked 60 hours a week in a factory, in manufacturing, and that's been my life, and it's a tough life for sure, but it is what it is. All right, that's David, Dahameen, I don't know how you pronounce your name. So anyway, Paul American, what's the best business to get into? Yeah, that's tricky. So, I mean, the best business to get into is obviously a business where you don't have to make anything, right? We had a previous guy talking about investing. That's the best business to get into, because you could just, sit at your home, and any job that you can do from home is probably the best business, because that's apparently what everybody wants to do today. But from my standpoint, what I think the best business to do is do a business where you get to interact with people, and you get to help people, and you get to see the reward for doing a good job, right? So, if you're I don't know, I think a small business owners, these are the best job in the world, because you get to write paychecks, you get to help people develop skills, you get to see, you get to create things, but you also get to see the end result, right? So you get to see, like in my case, I make furniture. When I build a dresser, every time I build a dresser, there's something that's wrong, right? I get super frustrated and I just kick myself. But when that dresser is delivered and I get to hear from the customer how amazed they are, or I hear, oh, I waited 3 years to buy one of your pieces of furniture, that's an amazing feeling. When you write those paychecks every week, that money leaving the bank account, I hate it. I wish everyone would just work for free. But then you see your employees, show up at a new car, or maybe they've got, some new clothes, or they're talking about the vacation they took their family on, or they're talking about their kids. Like, that stuff feels really good. And we need more of that. That's going to help on the empathy side of things, which apparently we lack today. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I think that working for yourself is the best thing you can do. But people need to go work for somebody else for a decade. And do something that you think is really important, that you really want to do. Like, we get a lot of people today that are wanting to, you always hear about people in the service industry, restaurants and things like that. And everyone talks shit on the restaurant industry. But if you're a waiter, right, or you're a bartender or whatever, like, you need to be doing that with the intent of thinking, well, I want to do this someday for myself. And then you need to be going to work every day thinking, I'm going to learn everything I can about this industry, so that maybe in 10 or 12 years, I can do this myself, or maybe in 5 years, maybe you're able to do it next month, like, who knows? But the point is that you have to do the work before you can have the benefit. And I think a lot of people just they don't have that mentality, and we need a little bit more of that today. So anyway, yeah, I mean, small business owner, I think is a great, I've only made furniture my entire life, in various capacities. But yeah, I think that working for yourself, anything you do with your hands, I think is very rewarding. And people talk about money a lot. When you do something that's really fulfilling, like, I'll tell you, money is not the driving factor. Like, I was making cabinets for private jets for a long time, and I mean, I never made more than, I was like in the mid-20s for the most part. Like, later on, I got into the 30s, and I always just had life was fine. Like, I just really loved what I did. And I've always loved it. I don't remember having a memory of going into work thinking, oh, fuck this, I don't want to do this. I hate this job. I want to get out of this. I never want to do this again, or I want a desk job. Like, those thoughts just never crossed my mind. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know if that helps or not. All right, we got more people coming in here. Everyone works hard. My wife has a master's in nursing and some college. She works hard, harder than me, but she makes 10 times what I make. God bless her. Yeah, so that's so let's talk about that for a second. So this is one of the problems that I have with what's going on in the job market today in America today. This is a fantastic example. Okay, so yes, everyone works hard. I don't dispute that one bit. Okay, but most people, I'm not saying most people, I'll say many people are not honest with themselves about what they bring to the job. Okay, and what I mean by that is when you're on your phone all day, when you're smoking weed before you get to work, when you're constantly having car problems, when you have family problems, when you got girlfriends showing up to work, bitching and whining, when your toxic attitude ruins everyone else's work experience, when you steal, there's, like I said, there's just 1,000 things. Like when you constantly need draws on your paycheck, like what you bring to the workplace really matters. Beyond what it is that you're doing, right? So there's a lot of things that people don't understand about being an employee, okay? And this is one of the things we need to work on. And I think that if I go to point number 2 of having a public-private apprenticeship kind of a program, this will really help with this, because colleges aren't teaching this kind of stuff, right? When you go to college, you're not doing, when people job hop, right? You see these people with resumes, they've got 100 jobs in the last year, and it's because of what I just told you, right? It's all these little soft skills and these things that they bring to work other than what it is they're doing that's a major problem. So anyway, so back to the nursing thing, okay? So the master's in nursing, okay? I'll tell you the problem with this. So my second wife became a nurse by going to school after work, okay? And this was not a degree. This was it was basically like, what do you call that? Oh gosh, there's a word for it, but it's not college. It was some kind of like a mentorship type deal. And anyway, she became a nurse and has done nursing her entire life. Never needed a college degree for it, okay? Now they've changed all this, right? And the only reason they've changed all this is because the colleges came into effect, right? So instead of just apprenticing under somebody and wanting to be a nurse and being taught to be a nurse, and then you grew every year and you learned more as you were a nurse at a hospital or a medical institution, they said, no, you need to go to college, right? And then as you advance all these degrees, the cost is absorbed by somebody, whether that's you, whether it's by the company or whoever, to get that academic credential. When the point is the credential is not the goal. The goal is to administer great care to somebody. The goal is to be empathetic to someone, to install an IV. The goal is to, help the doctor. The goal is, there's many things about being a nurse, but this emphasis on having a bachelor's degree or a master's degree has ruined America. It has ruined everything. It's driven up the cost for everybody on everything. And I would apply this to anything that requires a college degree, okay? And we know this because companies like Google what do you call it now, X, like these people that do all this, these IT and data centers, and the people that are looking at creating software are not looking for degrees anymore. They want examples of the work that you've done. And there's so many people now that they just love coding, right? They love working on this kind of stuff, and they do it all the time. They're not accredited by a college. They're just really good at what they do, and they have massive examples of the work that they've done. And they're getting hired making $200,000 a year with no degree, right? No credential from a college. And this is the problem with nursing. And I know about nursing specifically because I was married to someone for 10 years who was a nurse, and she would tell me about all this kind of stuff, So the idea that you need a college degree to do so many jobs ruined everything. It brought the price of everything up, right? Because you got to pay all these people more because, one company that has an MBA as a CEO decides, well, I need more people like me. And then he hires more people with degrees, and it rolls downhill. It snowballs all throughout the company. And then eventually you've got a company with HR, right? And HR is nothing but people with college degrees, and they're going to look for people with more college degrees. And I'm not going to go off on this, but it's created a problem within the nursing industry, right? Which so they end up with a shortage of nurses. You end up with people that really could be doing this job with minimal credentials, but they can't, right? They won't even get in the door, right? And you can't even get anyway. We're going to stop there. I'm going to go right there. But yes, the master's degree has ruined so many things, and it's important in certain jobs. Don't get me wrong, but requiring degrees for people, because most people don't want to go to school. Most people aren't cut out to go to school, and it creates a weird person, to be quite honest with you. All right, so coming down again, more comments coming in. I went to UCLA Law School and received JD from Southern. Imagine saving money and President pissed it away. Okay, yeah, okay, well, that's fair. Minimum wage is $7.25. You only get paid based on your experience. No, that's not true. And that's, again, when I talk about point number 2, okay, this is this public-private partnership or apprenticeship, okay? So here's the thing. I agree with you. $7.25 is is not a living wage. It's not a wage. But here's the thing: I've never hired anybody at that. My minimum wage is $20 an hour. That's for a laborer, right? That's for someone with no experience that job hops. Okay, so you can't tell me that $725 is what people are paying. No one's paying that. Okay, and I can tell you that I run businesses. I know other business owners. Like, nobody pays that. Does that exist? Of course, there's plenty of people that make $725 an hour, but you're talking about 1-2% of the population, right? So, and this is one of the things that we're really struggling with as a society today. We get people that come on here and bitch about the minimum wage, right? When it's like a 1% issue. There's so many other things that could help people more than just giving them money. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. Okay, had a guy, I paid him. What was I paying him? I think I was paying him $17 an hour. Okay, and every problem you could think of: home problems, car problems, weed problems, drug problems, stealing, lying, not, owning up to anything, not insubordination, but just the whole basket of problems. Okay, if I one day went to that guy and said, you know what, I'm going to double your salary. Okay, I'm going to pay you $34 an hour. Okay, trust me, I'm not going to get any better work. I'm not going to get, there's not going to be less family drama. There's not going to be less weed. In fact, there's probably going to be more weed. I'm not going to get any less car problems. I'm not going to get any less attitude problems. I'm not going to get any less of any of that, okay? It's not a money problem. And I know this because I've hired enough people in my day. I've probably hired 100 people in the last, 10 years that I've been in business, hired and fired people. It's not a money issue, right? It's a culture issue. It's a home issue. It's a how people are raised issue. Like, I grew up dirt poor. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't know what's going on today, but the problem isn't money. If you increase the minimum wage to $14 an hour, it's not going to fix anything. It doesn't change the fact that people want health care, people want dental care, people want vision, no one can afford it, right? When the Obamacare came in, you ended up, I remember the day that happened, right? My company, I work for a company called Nordam. They brought everyone together, I don't know, probably 500 employees. And they told everyone, you know what? Everybody's healthcare cost is going to go up $100 a month. It basically, I think our cost went up, it was like 50%. Just like that, so that apparently everyone else can have healthcare. Well, fast forward, right? Now, nobody can afford healthcare. I'm a small business owner. I can't really afford it for myself. I haven't had healthcare in probably 7 years. I had it for a little bit. My wife went and did some real estate work, but I don't have any of that stuff. I don't know what to tell people. Like, the idea, like, there is no federal fix to a lot of this stuff. It's kind of what I'm getting at. And a lot of people want to focus on these issues. It's not the minimum wage. Minimum wage isn't a problem. We got culture problems. We got home problems. We got, people that don't have fathers. We got a massive amount of problems. But the minimum wage isn't any of it. Okay, so going back through here. Only prices go up. They never come down, ever. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree 100%. It's kind of garbage, but when your government prints trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, guess what happens? Not only do the prices go up, right, but the value of the dollar that used to buy anything gets whacked, right? It gets less and less and less and less and less. And people don't understand economics very well, and again, I don't either. But the idea that wealthy people are just out to screw everyone, they're just taking all the money for themselves, like, that's not really true. There's a lot of other issues involved here. So, all right, got more people coming in. Okay, I think I finally worked my way through the comments. See, once right, yeah, they never come down. Yes, you're 100% right. Cost of living keeps going up, so low interest rates make no sense if cash flow is very low. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. I completely agree with you. Let's see, last comment. I've been in St. Louis. I was a kid. I remember going to the Great Arch. Yeah. St. Louis is an interesting place. We got a lot of problems here. I think it was the murder capital of the world at one point. But anyway, yeah, St. Louis is an interesting place. It's a low cost of living, a lot of great areas, fantastic outdoors if you like to be outdoors. But the point is that the wages are decent and the cost of living is still relatively low, right? Which means it's a good place to start, right? To start out. But anyway, I'm going to get back to my points here. And again, hit the likes, guys. I appreciate all the comments. I know people aren't going to agree with me, but again, I'll admit it. I am not an intelligent person. I'm just a super hard worker, and I pretty much outwork anybody. But it's not the easiest life in the world. I will absolutely admit it. Okay. So why was everyone given a college degree? Okay. Truth is that people were given all these college degrees because they were outsourced at all your work, right? So I'll explain it to you. So what was happening is we decided that we were going to send everyone to college, right? Which is a noble thing, and it's good. They make people smart, feels good about it. I mean, I think if you were born in if you were doing school in the '90s, you got to remember the big push to go to college, and in the 2000s, the big push to go to college, right? Well, starting in 1994, they started outsourcing all that work, right? So what happened is you sent all these people to school, and then you told them, hey, here's how you run a company. If you get online and you look for the #1 degree in college, it's still the business degree, right? So you told everybody, hey, you know what? Take all these jobs, we're going to send them overseas because labor is dirt cheap, okay? And while that sounded good because you were able to increase margins on your products, right? Which, again, if you own a small business, right, we know all about margin, okay? You're able to increase your margins, right? And then you can hire people to do design work. You can spend more money on advertising. You can spend more money on marketing. And the actual making of the good is done overseas, okay? But then the really insidious thing, the thing that really fucked us was all of these business owners, they started getting into politics and they started lobbying politicians. And they said, you know what? We really need this safety rule, right? If you're in the woodworking space, I'll give you a quick example, okay? People know this company SawStop. So SawStop has this technology, right? So you put your finger on the blade and it stops the saw blade right away. It's really cool. Well, the thing is that company tried to get all companies to have to use their technology, right? And this is the thing that happens with anybody that gets into business and starts to get a really large amount of money, extra money, right? So when you make a lot of extra margin, you have excess capital that you can spend on things, right? Like lobbying politicians. But anyway, this company tried to make it so that your miter saws had to have this technology. Of course, your table saws would have it. Band saws. I mean, any saw you can possibly think of, because they wanted to have a lock on the market. And this is what happens in a lot of instances. Okay, so if you're one of these people that goes to school and you want to start a company, but you don't actually make anything, you're not really a tradesperson per se. You end up starting to look for ways to spend money, okay? You outsource all that work, and then what happens? Well, you want to hire more people with degrees, right? Because you don't need people that make things. You need people that know how to design. You need people that know how to, manufacturing engineers. You need people that know how to, environmental engineers. Because what's happening is all these companies start talking to politicians and implementing regulations and rules, okay? And this is a thing that, and I'm going to lose people on a lot of this stuff, but what's happened is, when you don't need labor in America, you can apply all kinds of regulations, right? Look at OSHA and the EPA. Who do you think writes all those laws, okay? It's people that go to college. It's people that are in research. It's people that, environmental engineers. You have, efficiency engineers, manufacturing engineers. All these people are identifying things that need to become regulations, right? So every time the regulation gets put into place, it makes it harder for the dumb American to do that job, okay? If there's 100 laws and regulations, you need to start a paint company like I did, it's very difficult, right? Most people are gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna do this. It's too much work. I don't wanna do it. It's a pain in the butt. I'm tired of, getting sued. I'm tired of inspectors coming in and telling me I can't put this in. I'm tired of people messing with me, right? So you just go do something else, okay? Well, do you think that stuff exists in other countries? Like, it doesn't. It really doesn't, because other countries want the work so bad. So what we do is we send everyone to college, we create these virtuous people, and then we send all that work overseas, right? We could have dirty air in other countries, we just can't have it in America, right? We can have power plants China can make 150 power plants a year. We can't make one here in America, right? And this is why everything is so damn expensive, okay? One of the reasons, then, people don't talk about this, one of the reasons that we can't get Chinese cars in here is they don't meet all of our safety regulations. We have this thing called the National Transportation Highway Safety Board. They can't meet all that stuff here, right? The quality is not there. We have so many regulations and we have so many safety regulations on automobiles. The average price of an automobile, I think, is something like $45,000, okay? Now, you don't need to have all that shit on a car. You really don't, but when you keep layering on all of these safety things and all of these environmental things and all of this labor law, the cost of everything just goes through the roof, okay? That's one of the reasons cars are so damn expensive, You can't tell me that if Toyota put out a car with roll-up windows, and the old lock, and a car that has maybe an airbag and some safety restraints, that people wouldn't buy that car. They absolutely would. They would, but Toyota's not going to make it because they have a factory that's geared to make all of these electronic components, all of this, 100 airbags, all of this, touchscreen, everything, and now nobody can afford it. It's nice to have, but again, no one can afford it. Same thing with houses, right? In the housing industry, if you want to you want to build a house, like, good luck. It used to be 50 years ago, people built their own homes, and again, once we started to send everyone to college, it's gone, it's done, because no one knows how to make anything. And the truth is that when you send everyone to college, what happens is you start specializing. Everyone is a specialist in this thing that they do. But the thing is that thing that they do is not applicable to the real world, right? If you're good, and we had a guy here in finance, okay? You being good in finance isn't gonna help you build a house, right? Now, you can pay someone to build a house for sure, but again, if you come to me and say, well, you know what, I lost all my money, I got wiped out, but I wanna build furniture, I'm gonna be like, great, here's $20 an hour and you can start learning, right? But you're going to tell me to go fuck myself. And I'm going to be like, great, okay, I'm going to go back to work, building furniture, making my whatever, 100 grand a year. And I'm good. I can take my skills anywhere in America and go make money anywhere. I can go to the Gulfstream private jet company and they'll hire me tomorrow to go build furniture, or I can go work for a company here locally in St. Louis, whatever, West Star Aviation. I can go to work for a housing company and I go frame houses. Like, I've just done it all, so my skills are very useful wherever I go. And with college, it's made everyone's job super specialized, for one, but then it's also given out degrees like candy. So now everybody has the same degree and everyone can technically do the same thing. And once that thing is no longer valuable, everyone's fucked. And that's what we're running into today. These degrees aren't useful, right? So we gave everyone a degree. Now no one can make anything. And you hear people on television, they talk about how we need illegal labor, right? And we need this cheap labor, so that we can make houses. And you hear these douchebags say, well, we need people to pick the strawberries and rotate the crops, And my contention to that is, my mother picked strawberries when she was 20 years old, right? She picked them and got paid by the flat. Okay, she retired very wealthy. You can't tell me that we can't pick our own freaking strawberries in this country. Like, I don't buy it for a second. Again, you take the kids out of school, that are going to college for 10 years, and get those kids working. This idea that you can go to college and not work, like, where the fuck did that come from? Okay, you want people to do these jobs. I mean, you got kids you got moms, family of 4 working at McDonald's, making French fries. Like, what is that? What happened? When did that become okay? You can't have that in this country, but that's what we got going on. And everyone says, oh, the illegal labor is cheap. Okay, the illegal labor is cheap. They don't want any benefits, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm here to tell you something. Okay, it's not that illegal labor is cheap. Okay, and this is the truest thing you guys are here on this cast. It's that illegal labor works. Illegal labor doesn't do what I was telling you guys earlier. They don't do drugs. If you use the word fuck, they don't care, right? If you use the word, tranny or whatever, these words you can't say, like, they don't care. They don't care about any of that. They just want to work. They just want to do a good job. And this is the problem with America today. And this is what I was talking about. We need a public-private apprenticeship program where we teach people how to do stuff, how to operate in the real world, right? Breathing dust is okay. You don't need 100 regulations to keep you from breathing dust. You don't need hearing regulations. You don't need any of that shit. There's no employer in America that wants their employees to be unsafe, that wants their employees to be any of these things. Like, does it happen? Of course. But you don't need 1 million regulations to keep you from starting a company. You don't need, all of these labor laws to keep you from employing people today. But we have all this stuff, right? What I told you guys before, 1950, 950 pages of CFRs, right? Today, 87,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. If somebody wants to shut you down, if someone wants to come in and F with your business, they could absolutely do it. And there's a code for them to do it, right? Because everyone's breaking some kind of a law, right? So when they come in, they're gonna find something, and it's a major problem. All of these regulations that we have today, okay? All of these people with degrees today, these people with degrees, they look for things to be wrong. They look for problems with anything but the work, right? They look for problems with anything that it is around them, right? Their work environment, the people around them, the parking lot. They look for anything they possibly can to have a problem with, other than just coming in and doing their job. And this is what college has created, right? Meanwhile, you go on the job site, like no one gives a fuck. They just want to frame a house, right? They just want their welder. They want their acetylene. They just want to go to work with some welding rod. They just want to do their job. And they know how to do it because they're in danger all day, every day, right? And this is a big problem with America today, is we have too many people that are going to college where everything is nerfed. And then we got another group of people that are actually doing the work all day, operating in dangerous environments all day, every day of the week. Right. And there's like a major clash going on here. Right. And I'll get to point 4 on the slowing the economy and what's getting ready to happen. But this is the thing where you got a lot of people in college are going to get really pissed off. A lot of people that invest and buy property and start companies that don't actually make stuff here. Right. They make digital products. Got a lot of these people that are getting ready to lose their asses. OK. And this thing that Trump's doing, I think what's getting ready to happen is he's basically going to change how the economy works. He's going to make it much more expensive to sit at home and trade stock, and much easier to go start a company that builds houses. And I think this is point number 4 that I was talking about. So our got more comments coming in. So again, hit the likes, the comments, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, I've got more comments here. Let a non-college graduate do open heart surgery for you. Yeah, and this is what all you people talk about, right? This is the point you guys always make. You bitch about this one innocuous thing that nobody would actually do, and this is the leg you want to stand on. And this is the problem with America today. Like no one's talking about this. No one's talking about the open heart surgery, of some guy like me doing open heart surgery, or me flying a plane. Like no one's talking about that. But this is where you guys all go to, and this is the problem. Like there's no reasoning with you people. You don't want to hear it, because again, you've been told that you're so intelligent and you're so smart, and basically we're all dumb out here, and you can, intellectually logic us into your way of thinking, and it's not going to work anymore. And that's what it boils down to. So anyway, okay, point number 3. I'm going to keep getting back to my points, but again, I appreciate all joust. I'm happy to joust with all of you. So tariffs, okay, so we got these automotive tariffs coming in at 25%. Okay, now I don't know if that's a good thing. I do know why it's being done. Okay, and then I wrote down the timber tariffs. Okay, 14.5% currently, getting ready to add another 25% on. Okay, now the timber industry, or this timber tariff, right? You get on Grok, you can read all this stuff. But this tariff's getting ready to go up into the 30s, right? And one of the industries that this will protect the furniture industry. The furniture industry is listed specifically in this because we got a lot of people here in America, right? This is what I'm talking about. So I'll talk specifically about the furniture industry for a second, and then I'll move into the automotive industry. So here's how it works. So a company like mine that makes furniture, right? We hand make all of our furniture right here in St. Louis. And I literally mean we hand make it, right? We don't CNC cut very much. We're moving into that a little bit. But we hand make furniture. We make a very expensive piece of furniture, and it's because we hand make it. It's so damn expensive to make stuff in America because labor is insanely expensive. Insurance is insanely expensive, okay? So when these tariffs come in, what happens is, again, you get these college graduates. They come in, they're like, oh, I'm going to do the furniture thing, right? And they go find a bunch of fabricators and builders over in Vietnam or Egypt or Pakistan or India or Mexico or anywhere but America, right? Because there's not a lot of margin at the end of the day for you and your investors if you have to pay people a living wage, right? So if you have to navigate all of the rules and regulations in America, as a person with a college degree, you fast realize that, oh, this doesn't work. This business model, which is what you learn about, doesn't work in America. People are too expensive. There's too many regulations. I'm going to go to another country and do this for 1/10 of the cost, right? And then I get to put all that money in my pocket. I'm rich. I'm so smart, right? But you sold out your country. Like you didn't teach anybody here in America anything. In fact, you are telling other people they need to go do what you do, right? Which is create companies and find investors, find some of that VC money, and go start a company overseas and bring those products back to America. Okay, so Trump is getting ready to make it very hard for you to do that. Okay, and I think that's what's going on. Same thing with this automotive industry. Okay, if you want to take a car and you want to make it in another country and then import it here, the fact that you can build something overseas, put it on a massive container ship, and bring it back to America, and there's a shit ton of money left on the bone for you to go buy a yacht, is criminal. And again, I say this as a capitalist. I say that as someone who used to work on private jets, who made a very comfortable middle-class living working on private jets. I think these industries are fantastic. But when you're making your money by selling your country out, I disagree with that. I don't think it's a good thing. And I'm not, again, you're never going to convince me that this is okay. You need to be hiring people in America, teaching people how to do things. And the fact is, business owners do not want to teach people. It's funny because the college graduates, they're the worst. They don't want to teach anybody how to do anything because they realize how expensive it is. The ROI on hiring a young person is almost negative, right? There's no money in hiring young people. In fact, they make more mistakes and they cost more than they're worth, which is the truth of the situation in many cases. They look for people with college degrees, right? People that they know can show up, people they know that can take instruction, people that have a 4-year degree track record of doing the work, right? They showed up every day, and this is very valuable. I'm not going to lie, it's super valuable, But just because someone didn't go to college doesn't mean you shouldn't take a chance on them and teach them something. But we don't want to do any of that today, And so I think that Trump, when he puts in these tariffs, which is what I'm talking about right now, is going to make the cost benefit analysis of outsourcing your work to Mexico much more difficult for people that love to calculate numbers, right? It's going to be very, very difficult to do that. So as these tariffs come in on all these other countries, the guy that like I was saying, has the MBA and, wants to, figure out how to make more money in every department. And he's going to get revenues up and margins up and costs down, all the stuff that we hear. It's going to be more difficult for those people to do that without doing the work, right? Which is what we need in America. We need more people that are here to do the work of making shit, okay? And one of the things I wrote down at the top is digital products versus physical products. And this is a thing in America that we've gotten way out of whack. The big thing today is AI. Everyone's talking about AI. 20 years ago, it was all these college degrees, go be a business person, make digital products, outsource all the work. It was anything but do the work of making a physical good in America. And this is the thing that on YouTube you're seeing, that this is one of the reasons that I do this, is because so many people on YouTube are showing you how to make things, but they're not showing you how to do it for other people. They're not showing you how to start companies doing this stuff because it's really expensive and it's really difficult. So what they do is we'll use furniture. They make a piece of furniture, they make a drawing for it, they make a video about it, and then they never make that piece of furniture again. And they get the revenue from the sponsorships and the ads, and they get the revenue from the one drawing that they made, and they just do that over and over and over again. And you end up with these people that literally have hundreds of these products and videos and stuff like that, but they don't make any of that stuff, right? They just make it one time, right? Which is good for them. It's terrible for people that want to make stuff. It's terrible for people that want to learn how to run companies and do this for a living, because the truth is it's really difficult and they don't show you any of that. So again, this is why I talk about the stuff and I have these discussions with people, because it's super hard. So anyway, so that's one of the reasons I think the tariffs is coming in. It's going to make it, you take that and you couple that with what we have in the tax structure getting ready to happen. And I think the tax structure, and actually we're going to get to point number 4, okay, slowing economy. You couple the tariffs with what Trump has talked about with this, like, we'll take the no tax on tips. When you have no tax on tips coupled with a tariff, what happens is it becomes more expensive to outsource your product, right? It becomes much more of a balancing act of making it here versus making it someplace else, right? But then you take this no tax on tip things. What's going to happen is you're going to have a whole bunch of lower class people that don't have to pay tax anymore on their tips, which they don't. I mean, technically speaking, they don't pay a lot of tax anyway, but this is one example, right? So Trump has actually talked about increasing the tax rate on wealthier people, their income, and cutting the tax on this whole tip thing, right? So again, you couple this with what's going on with the tariffs, and I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to slow the economy to bring prices down and interest rates down. Couple that with getting lower class people to not have to pay so much for tax. Give people more money, right, by slashing federal spending and reducing taxes on everybody. So then you get to choose how you want to spend your money. It's not just the federal government giving away, hundreds of billions of dollars to colleges and research institutions from people like myself who just work hard all day long and pay fucking shit tons of taxes, Okay. That's, I think, what's getting ready to happen with this slowing economy, right? And as that economy slows down, prices come down. I know someone said prices never come down, and I agree with that. But if you get on, like I look at cars all the time, like all car values are just plummeting right now, right? Which again, as those sales go down, the values go down, interest rates will follow. They absolutely will as the economy slows down. It's just basic economics. So yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting situation here, right? And the last thing I wrote down is small businesses can't afford benefits and wages. Okay, and goes back to what I was saying in point number 2 with the public-private partnership. Small businesses, we can't afford to pay people all these wages, right? Or excuse me, all these benefits. We could afford the wages, but we can't afford the benefits, right? And again, if we could get together a public-private partnership where some of those expenses are offset in an apprenticeship type program, these people learn skills and they become a member of a business, of an actual small business, and they get to they endear themselves to this company, and basically they can plant their flag within a company, and you can work for a company for 10, 20, 30 years, because as small business owners, we don't want to hire and fire people. We want to hire people, develop those people, then have them work with us forever. Like we don't. The worst thing I can think of is hiring people. I hate hiring people, because I would rather just have good employees that grow with me. As my company grows, their wages grow. We're able to grow the environment with the company. We're able to make better products. We're able to do all this stuff, and it is literally like a family. And people always make fun of that statement, but like as a small business owner, it's 100% true. Like there's nothing I want than just to keep my employees happy and grow my business, and everyone just has a great time every day. Like that's all we want, But we can't compete with outsourcing jobs, right? There's just no way. There's no way, So anyway, I made up to 51 minutes. That's like much longer than I wanted to talk. So I appreciate everyone contributing to the discussion, and especially you, top 20 Louisiana law. Like I appreciate the back and forth, and again, you don't have to disagree with me. Like I said, I'm an idiot. You're probably super intelligent, and we'll go back and forth, But it just is what it is. So I would recommend you do a stream and talk about this situation. Do the same thing that I'm doing. Getting people talking about this kind of stuff is really important, and having people talk about it that are just normies, that you have some kind of a life, right? Talk about it is very important, So anyway, when you get off here, I got to go to work because I work every day. And anyway, I do a stream on Friday of what's in the shop, and I show everyone what's going on in the factory, what we're painting, what we're making, what crap I've had to deal with for the week. Sunday, I generally talk about a piece of furniture, and we go over kind of the mechanics of it, the construction, the design, all these kind of things, and we have a discussion about that. So anyway, hope everyone has a great weekend, and it's Saturday, and have a good time, and I will yak at y'all later.